What a day of trade it has been. Started off with flying colors, made it to the 12K mark. We were in ship shape, and then came the power outage in Mumbai. Not that it had much to do with the kind of weakness that you saw thereafter, but yes, sure enough, there was a volume aberration both for equity as well as money markets, which trickled in because of that. Net result, we gave up all of our morning gains and have closed in absolutely flat, still clinging on to that 11,900 mark, however. But what gives you conviction in the market strength is the fact that at each dip, you did have buyers come in, although it was a failed attempt to claw back all the way to that 12K mark, but you did see some buying at dips coming in. If you talk about the flavor today in terms of what were the sectoral movers, you'd have to say it was a defensive tilt through and through. IT and Pharma, that was the only two sectors that actually managed to hold out. So within IT, large as well as mid-caps alike, in fact, mid-caps managed to overtake their large cap peers. Coforge went in with 9% gains into the close. Mindtree held out by about 5% ahead of its earnings this week. Wipro was a very strong mover. Remember, today the two-day buyback meet as well kickstarts, post which you're going to have the earnings announcement as well. TechM, TCS, Infosys, they were all a strong ship. And so was the case within the pharma universe as well. Most of these pharma majors, led by a DRL from within the broader universe, or from the large cap universe rather, they all held out very, very smartly indeed. Some of the other surprise movers today were ITC. There is a CLSA upgrade which came in, that augured well for ITC, closed in with a 2.5% gain. You also had Asian Paints held out very well after the finance minister's announcement. There was talk in the market about discretionary spends, given that there will be more money put in the hands of employees now, and in particular government employees. Where does it go? Discretionary spends like some of the plywood companies, paint companies, home improvement largely as a theme is what held out, and some of the white good majors as well did very well in the markets today. Besides that, I want to take a moment to talk about the sulkers as well. And sure enough, after the failed delisting attempt, Vedanta, a gap down start and continued to reel under pressure, closed in with a 20% loss. Motherson Sumi, wherein the analyst meet takeaways do not augur all that well for the sentiment on the name, closed in with a 7% loss for itself. And some of the movers from Friday, remember after the RBI policy announcement, you had banks which came out with a vengeance. Some of the PSBs were the ones which took a breather today. So case in point being a BOB, Can Bank. And then of course there was Z as well from the media universe that weighed very heavy on the markets today with the Siti issues that sprung up. That was down from the word go and closed in with roughly about a 4.6% kind of loss. You also had two debutants for the markets today, Mascot Shipbuilders as well as UTI AMC. Not as much enthusiasm for UTI AMC, but Masga, which went into its listing with a hefty grey market premium, listed at a 30% issued premium to its issue price and closed in with stupendous gains as well, given that this is a direct play from within the PSU pack, which gives you exposure to defense. So this was really the big mover in trade today. But the texture of the market intact. Just keep your eyes on what happens in the global markets. There's a lot of back and forth happening on the US stimulus. And of course, we are now knocking on the doors of the US presidential election. So any aberration for the global markets is sure to rub off on us. But for our markets, one can say with conviction that momentum is pretty much intact. Let's see whether tomorrow we make another attempt at 12K or not.